What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today I'm taking a look at the top 8 and the metagame of the $3,000 GG Tour tournament, which was held on the weekend of December 26th, and there was over 250 players participating in this standard format online tournament. It was best 2 out of 3 Swiss to a top cut of everybody with 18 match points and above. So we're going to take a quick look at the metagame shares, the top 8, and then one specific top 8 list in particular. First, shout out to PotownStore.com, the best place for you to get PTCGO codes, and be sure to use code CELIO for 5% off. Also, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this analysis, and leave a like and a comment. So, Zacian ADP and Pikarom were the most popular decks. I don't think that's very surprising. But Pikarom almost tied Zacian ADP, and ADPZ has been the top dog for quite a while now. Pikarom is, we could just about say, even with ADPZ for this tournament. One small, quarter of a percentage point away from being even with ADPZ. And then Zacian Luke Metal came back up to being third in the running for popularity, and Zacian Luke Metal was falling behind a bit for part of this team up through Vivid Voltage standard format. So Zacian Luke Metal coming back up, and then Eternatus and blacephalon and Sentis Scorch being 4th, 5th, and 6th, and then Lightning Mewtwo having just a dozen players playing it. Lightning Mewtwo does seem to have fallen out a little bit, and a lot of players are just switching to regular old Pikarom with a Mewtwo or two thrown in there. So yeah, Sentis Scorch has fallen down, Zacian Luke Metal has gone up in popularity, and I think Eternatus and blacephalon are kind of just staying where they were, while Pikarom is battling it out for the most popular, but Zacian ADP. If we take a quick look at the win percentages, Sentis Scorch and Lightning Mewtwo have under 50% win rates, and then Eternatus also has under a 50% win rate, and then Zacian Luke Metal has, we'll just call it 50%. It's just under 50%. And then Pikarom was a couple percent over 50. Zacian ADP barely went over 50. And blacephalon had the highest rate of win percentage as any of the top 7 popular decks. So any deck over 10 population in this tournament, out of those decks, blacephalon had the best win rate. And the deck I actually want to look at specifically is one of the blacephalon lists. So top 8 of this tournament, Pikarom ended up winning. We'll just take a quick look at this list. Pikarom with 4 Crushing Hammers, the 2 Mewtwo I mentioned. No Vikavolt. I was playing Vikavolt for this tournament because of how good blacephalon looked. So I do think Vikavolt's good, but it's not as good versus the version of blacephalon we're looking at today. But this list did choose to forego the Vikavolt, playing 2 Chaotic Swell, the 4 Hammers, 3 Bolt Tund. Lists have been going around 3 or 4 recently, and then like I said, the 2 Mewtwo and Mew tag team, which is good against anything you want to have extra HP against, where it matters between the Pikarom Raichu HP or having the Mew Mew HP. If you want to reuse your your Raichu after it got knocked out, or against decks that are fighting type, hitting Pikarom for weakness, that could be good as well. Or if you want to hit, another deck for weakness yourself. There was 1 Zacian ADP in top cut, so 4 Pikarom, and then 1 ADPZ. ADPZ actually playing Galarian Zigzagoon to do a little bit extra damage, so you can knock out Mewtwo's, which is another reason, there you go, to play Mewtwo, or a specific reason to play Mewtwo in Pikarom. Because Pikarom with resistance is knocked out by a Zacian after Alter Creation, but a Mewtwo is not. But with the Galarian Zigzagoon, it is then knocked out by the Alter Creation. So only 3 Zacian, though, and only 3 boss. So I'm not a fan of this list, really. I think 4 Zacian is the way to go, and 4 boss is the way to go. Boss's orders is your win condition, so just play 4 boss. But yeah, the 6th place blacephalon list is what I really want to talk about here. I think people were calling it Cracephalon because it has the Cramorants. But this is kind of a firebox deck in my opinion. It's almost not baby Blounds. It's almost like not Blound. It has like most of the core of the recent Blound lists we've seen. but then it also has Pokecoms, it has Cherish Balls, and it has 2 Reshizard and 2 Cramorant. So these are your 3 main Pokemon, right? Cramorant V, Blacephalon, and Reshizard. And it's kind of nice to see a deck with the single prize option, the 2 prize option, and the 3 prize option, kind of bringing me back to Pikarom with like Zapdos, Coco GX, and Pikarom, or Zapdos, Zeraora, and Pikarom. Kind of bringing me back to that. So I do like to see this. So there's 3 different attackers that do 3 different things for 3 different situations. The Blacephalon, of course, if you're able to reach for that big one-shot on like an Eternatus or a Centiskorch, that's going to be your way to go. You want to use Fireball Circus. If you decide to forego the large Pokemon in the active and want to snipe something on the bench, Cramorant can snipe the Denes, or with the help of Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Net, it can snipe Crobats and Eldegoss as well. And then the Reshizard, of course, the 2 Reshizards are here. Reshizard is actually really good versus Pikarom because Zigzagoon plus Flare Strike is a knockout versus Pikarom. Of course, if you can Welder to the Reshizard and then keep it safe on the bench for a turn, you can Welder again next turn and use Double Blaze for 300, which knocks out a ton of stuff. But the important thing about Reshizard is it doesn't reach high enough to knock out Eternatus VMAX. It doesn't reach high enough to knock out Centiskorch, Coalossal, those kinds of things, and that's where Blacephalon comes in with Fireball Circus to knock out those things that Reshizard can't. Now, of course, Blacephalon is also good because it's only giving up 1 prize, but it takes more to get going than Reshizard does, and also it usually doesn't stick around for another turn. Something very important about Reshizard is you can use it to Double Blaze GX, so you can just attach Welder, Double Blaze GX for 3 energy on a Zacian and knock it out because Zacian's weak to fire. Then that Zacian cannot return knock out that Reshizard if they are not playing Zigzagoon or Leon. So then you have next turn to Flare Strike another Zacian. And that's just one scenario. Of course, you can Flare Strike, like I said, Zigzagoon Flare Strike a Pikarom, and then Double Blaze GX a Raichu when they don't return knock you out. Whereas Blacephalon gets return knocked out fairly simply. So I really like this deck, this list for Blounds or for Firebox, for Reshizard, whatever you want to call it, because it has those 3 modes. It has 2 Cram, 2 Blacephalon, 2 Reshizard, instead of just hard focusing on the Blacephalon. So it really does feel like you have options. It does feel more like a box deck. So I really do like this list, and I think people are going to be playing this more because Reshizard was kind of underrated there for a little bit. It's 270 HP, should not be anything to scoff at, because the Pikarom deck cannot handle 270 HP. Sometimes Centiskorch cannot handle 270 HP right away. ADPZ typically cannot handle 270 HP because they're not usually playing Zigzagoon or Leon, but maybe we'll start to see more of that now that this deck is popular and that Pikaroms are playing 2 Mewtwo's in their deck. So maybe we will actually see that happen, and then I don't know, maybe this turns into more of a Reshi deck and they play Big Charms. But I think that would probably be the least likely thing to happen. So yeah, this Crescephalon deck, I think it's really good. Like I said, I'm not going to be surprised if that's the way that most Blacephalon lists are being built now, as more of a box deck. Kind of like when Reshizard first came out, and then there was like, it was turning into a Firebox deck basically. So kind of a similar thing going on here. And if you're interested in the rest of these results, they're all on play.limitlesstcg.com, and I definitely suggest looking out for upcoming tournaments on this website that you might want to partake in. There are so many upcoming online tournaments. If you just go click here, upcoming, all these tournaments, some are free, some are cash, some cost PTCGO packs to enter, but find one that's right for you regarding day, time, length, format. They got everything on here. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on the top 8 from the GG Tour, and also some a little more in-depth analysis on the Crescephalon deck, as I do believe the kids are calling it. So be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content, leave a like and a comment, and check out PotownStore.com, which is the best place for you to get PTCGO codes, and use code Celio for 5% off. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.